Molus traffic, Hotel Bravo 2500 at gliding hangar. Lining up and taking off runway 01 outbound direction north. Hey YouTube, great that you're here again today. I have a short video on the latest flight I did with the Arcus. I had a passenger with me, and this flight we had very difficult weather conditions, and we did have an interesting encounter with the whole flock of birds, which you'll see in a moment. And I also show the mistake that I know I made the second time with the Arcus. More about that in a minute. As I mentioned, the weather conditions were very difficult, so I had 2 low saves, and then to extend the flight duration I actually extended the engine once more, and here I retract the engine after using this the second time in the flight. Now the mistake that I made is that I retracted the engine about 100 meters too low. I'm very used to flying the Antares 20E, where when you retract the engine you lose no altitude really, and here you have to go through this cooling down procedure, which is what is happening right now, which takes about 100 meters of altitude, and I just keep forgetting to add these 100 meters. And as a result, I actually miss out on the thermals, which were actually pretty good over this ridge here. And I didn't connect and tried my luck elsewhere, and that didn't work out. So if you look at my flight log, you see the altitude that we gained with the engine. We almost immediately all lost it again. So that was all for nothing.
Let them up, looking through.
This section here shows the first low save I did during this flight. Here we are 1650 meters, which is 300 meters below the peak of the March stock, and it's very difficult close to the slope to find the lift, so we had to fly 8s, and there were about 20 birds at the same altitude, and you really have to worry not hitting those birds. Now, finally we did manage to find good lift, but it took several minutes of flying 8, where we gained a few meters, lost a few meters, searched a bit left, searched a bit right, and we kept worrying about the birds. Of course, the birds can go much closer to the slope than I can, and of course within a couple of minutes they were much higher than I was, which is kind of nice to see, but frustrating at the same point in time. Now finally we did manage to climb back to altitude, to the cloud base, and we tried our luck the second time to go to the Gonsen. My friend Dirk, who was flying his Antares, he did manage to go from the Gonsen, leaving at 2000 meters to the area of Flumes. We tried that and we failed, so we got to the Gonsen, we found no good lift, and then we got to the second low save of the day, which is shown in the next clip.
oder? Das ist so, ne?
So after we tried the Gonsen and failed, we arrived at about 1,000 meters at the Kerenzerberg, and here we found a bird of a different kind that was circling with us. Here we did manage to about 14-50 meters, but that's simply not high enough to connect back to the higher terrain. And so we tried a few things, and then basically used the engine the second time in the flight, which I talked about before. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave comments, and I hope to see you soon.